It was a marionette, I think. It had a big head, and the face was made of wrinkly, flesh-colored rubber. The eyes were gigantic, bulging white orbs with red pupils. The hair was black, made of some hard substance that didn't mesh with the rubbery skin. The teeth were huge, pure white, and capable of moving up and down. The body and limbs were wooden, painted to resemble clothes, but the paint was faded. You could see the wood's natural brown in some places. Each arm and leg was a different length, but the hands and feet were pretty detailed. It made a loud clattering sound when it moved. That puppet followed me. No, I don't mean it got up and chased me. I mean, it kept showing up in my life. My earliest memory of it was from my first birthday. I honestly don't remember the full details of that day, but I recall my parents saying happy birthday to me and that puppet. I don't know what it was there for. I just remember that it scared me to death and I couldn't stop crying. When I was able to talk, I asked my parents about it, and they said nothing like that happened on my first birthday. They must have thought lying about it would make things easier for me. The next time I saw it was when I was around 3 years old. I was exploring a room filled with old stuff my parents had stored away and found a calendar. I don't remember its year. There was a photo for each month, but the only one I recall was October. The puppet was its image. I got scared and ran out of the room. I told my mom about it and tried to show her the calendar so she would know that the puppet was real. But I couldn't find it. The room had been very messy and I ran out of it so quickly I knocked over piles of stuff and I guess the calendar got buried. I was 6 years old when it happened again. It was the middle of the night. I woke up from a nightmare I can't remember the details of. I was too scared to go back to sleep, so I went into the living room and turned on the TV. A old black and white show on Nick at Night was ending, and when the commercials started, that puppet came on. It was dancing while loud music played. I screamed and started crying uncontrollably, but by the time my parents got downstairs, it was gone. I didn't see the puppet again for a while after that, but I kept having nightmares about it. When I was 15 years old, I decided to track it down using the internet to try and find information about the calendar, the short. Literally anything. For a while, no one had ever heard of it, but one day I got an instant message from someone I had never talked to before. Their username was a random mashup of numbers and letters, and their avatar was a picture of the puppet. They messaged me and said, "Glad you still remember me," then immediately signed off. They never contacted me or came online again. When I was in my 20s, I was walking by a store that sold old toys and dolls, and in the front window I saw the puppet. I went inside and asked the clerk if he knew anything about the thing's history, when it was made, where it came from, anything. He didn't, and said the puppet had just been sold to the store a few days ago. I could have it for $6. I wasn't sure what to do, it still scared me, but having proof that it really existed actually seemed like a good idea. I bought the puppet and took it home. For a while, I felt better. I viewed it as a childhood fear I had overcome as an adult and even started to believe the explanations my parents had given me for the past appearances of it. I apparently saw it somewhere else as a baby. Imagined the calendar, dreamed the TV show, and someone online had played a trick on me. I kept the puppet, but as I moved on in my life, I pretty much forgot about it. I finished college and got married, and my wife should be giving birth in a few weeks. I was cleaning up a room for when the baby came, and found the puppet, dusty and abandoned. I didn't want my kids seeing it when he was little, so I picked it up and decided to wipe off the dust before moving it to another place. When I dusted it, I noticed a faded inscription on the back. This is what he will look like. Before I could figure out what that meant, I heard my wife starting to cry. I rushed to her. She looked more upset than I had ever seen her. Sobbing, she told me that the doctor had just called. Oh no. Oh no. There was a problem with the baby.